Line's good.
Never on.
Whoa.
Hard. Hardly.
Come on, Brent. Line's good. Got real close.
The hair high, right?
Try and hit 2/3.
Have they saved it for her? Yes, they have.
Ooh, welcome to Game of Stones, everybody. I am Sean Graham Scott. Alongside, as always, hello, Scott.
Sean, nice to speak to you. We're coming at you a little bit earlier than we thought we would be, given all the games ended before Sunday.
Yeah, so the building just sat empty on Sunday. Nothing going on. They did, I saw there, change the schedule for the patch. That's the patch stuff they moved up during the day. It was still open. I mean, they had the convention center. They had paid for it, so why not?
Why not, eh?
And there was live entertainment booked, so hopefully they weren't playing to an empty room.
Yeah, I don't know. Everybody, if they booked their flights, if you decided you're going for the weekend and heck, you're going no matter what, maybe you got a free day in Halifax, but we have winners, Sean. We have Olympians.
Yeah.
From the curling program here in Canada.
That's right. Here in Canada, the 4-person teams are set. That means that we have 7 additions to Canada's Olympic team in terms of the permanent players who will be going. And let's start, Scott, on the women's side. Rachel Homan defeats Christina Black in the final, wins on Friday afternoon 5-4, wins on Saturday afternoon 12-3. That game was, I watched it not live, Scott. So you and I saw each other on Saturday afternoon, either during or after this game. I don't know, but I hadn't seen it. I had recorded it with the plan of watching it later. And based on how you were talking, I very much got the sense that it was a blowout. And I was sitting there watching it with this expectation. And then the second end happened, and Christina Black got a 2, a very solid 2, like really controlled that end. I was like, oh, like maybe the two of you were just messing with me.
Yeah, maybe.
And this is going to be a nip and tuck game. And then the third end happened.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, okay, this is where you were coming from. But overall, I think, I don't know, what end do you want to talk? I think the third end is the most interesting in the game.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, we can talk about the third.
Yeah, so I think for me, the third end is so interesting. So it's a 4 for Rachel Homan. And this is one of these things where you see this at the rec level a lot, where you look up and it skips rocks and you're thinking, wait a minute, is this team going to score a bunch? How did that happen?
Yeah.
And I've kind of felt that way about the end here, that I don't like individually as it was going through. I didn't hate any of Team Black's calls.
Mm-hmm.
Just they were putting their stones though in the just like wrong place, just off, to the point where when Christina Black goes to throw her first, it's like, oh man, like this is kind of game savory type territory here. Like this is just what happens where these ends can kind of sneak up on you like that.
Yeah, for sure. And they, like you said, they were just sort of putting the rocks in just not quite the right spot. It wasn't a failure of strategy or anything, but when you're playing against Team Homan, you kind of have to be perfect all the time, or else stuff like that can happen. If I think to Friday's game, they hung with it. They stayed with her, made her think, made her work hard. And it seemed to me like they just kind of ran out of steam a bit. And that 4, kind of a gut punch. And then they have to go hard for it after that. And you get into the place where, well, if I don't make a game-saving shot every end, then it's going to be steals. And that's what we saw.
Yeah, so steal 1 in 4, steal 2 in 5. And yeah, it really did feel like the game was over at that point at 9-2. But as you say, full fair to Christina Black and her team. The game Friday afternoon was really interesting as well. Singles the whole game. Nobody could break through and get a big deuce there, but it was a steal in the third end by Rachel Homan and the fourth end that kind of had them in control most of the game. Christina Black gets a steal in 8, and then the 10th end down 2. And we saw this in the men's semifinal on Thursday night. In the 10th end, things went haywire in 10th ends.
Yes.
Out there in Halifax. Now, part of it could have been the conditions. All the players talked about how the conditions were challenging, but you don't expect Rachel Homan to have more than like 4 rocks in play when it's her turn to throw in a game where she's up by 2. But there was a lot of rocks in play.
A lot of rocks in play. And yeah, you mentioned Thursday night, Sean, and we'll get to that. But more rocks in play than you'd like, especially if you're Team Homan, like just not what you're trying to do when you're up and trying to defend a lead. Yeah, I think I was working here, and I would like turn over my shoulder every now and then to see how things were going, but just a real tough one for Team Black because they were trying to put pressure on and all that, but Team Homan, they're so good, they were able to put their rocks in exactly the right spot there.
Well, let's talk about that though, Scott, because Rachel Homan's first in the 10th end on Friday afternoon, she misses. Okay, and
why don't you describe it to me?
Okay. Well, here's the thing. I don't remember how she hit. Is she trying to double?
I'm going to bring it up.
I know that she touches something and it touches her shot stone at the back of the button and moves it sideways.
Okay, Sean, here's the setup. Team Homan shot back button. You've got 2 Team Black stones right on top.
Yep.
Then just to the left-hand side as you're looking down, there's a Team Black rock corner frozen. Then you've got a Team Black rock frozen on top of a Team Homan rock on the T line right on the edge of the top 12 with another Team Black rock behind it.
Right.
So what Rachel Homan is going to do is try to throw and hit a thin piece of the top rock edge of the 8-foot and drive her shooter into the pile of 3 yellows that are all stacked up. And what she does is she misses it thin, chips her own red, but not far enough to make any of the yellows' second shot.
Right.
So she misses because she doesn't accomplish what she wants to, but it works out because now there's no way any of the rocks that Team Black has stacked up on that were on top of the red is moved enough to the side that nothing goes onto it.
Yeah, so the angle is such that a Rachel Homan stone that, as the players like to say, goes out for fun when contact is made, now because of the angles cannot be removed.
Cannot be removed at all. No.
And it is an incredible turn of fortune for Rachel Homan because, as you described there, Scott, that rock was surrounded, and not only was 2 very much in play, 3 was very much in play.
Yeah.
Before she throws it, and then on her next one, she ends up throwing kind of a corner freeze guard to the top 4-foot that prevents Christina Black from playing any kind of a run, and Christina Black is left with kind of a double in-off type shot that she said afterwards she didn't think it was really there. And I mean, I think the shot was there in terms of the angles and the availability of it, but you have to throw that rock really hard. That's one of those ones that's like sort of last second cooey, just whipping it type of a shot to be able to make it and get that power. There's very few people in the world who can throw the rock hard enough and accurate enough to make that shot.
Yeah, really hard and really accurate, right?
Yeah. She got the accurate part.
She got the accurate part, but you're right. There's not many players who can throw it as hard as needed to be thrown in that situation.
Yeah.
So yeah, like all these rocks just kept coming in play, and you're thinking, why
Yeah.
why are there so many rocks in play?
And another example of an end that just, if you're Rachel Homan, probably just sneaks up on you.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
each individual shot, you're like, okay, like I can see why you're doing this. But at the end, you're like, wait, you haven't really hit anything yet.
Right. Yeah.
What's going on here?
Wait a minute. That's what you're good at.
Yeah. But she gets away with it and gets the 5-4 win, and then the big win on Saturday. So Rachel Homan will be going to the Olympic Games, 3rd consecutive games for her, 2nd games for Emma, 1st for Sarah Wilkes and Tracy Fleury. Heather Nedwin will be going, Rochelle Brown as well, and they will be joined by, I'm sure David Murdoch will be there. I don't know who the women's national coach is. They're giving out the jackets, but Nolan Thiessen will be there as well. I would imagine Renee Sonnenberg might be there. She was around in Halifax doing stats and stuff for Curling Canada, and she's sort of the analytics person. She was there 4 years ago and 8 years ago. Whether or not she can do what she does from home, or if they'll have her in Italy too, but it'll be a pretty big contingent there in support of Team Homan, and pretty cool for her that in 2021 or 2022, excuse me, in China, there were no fans.
Yeah.
Right? It was the closed circuit Olympics there in China, and we can all remember the great shots 2028 of her husband, or 2018, excuse me, of her husband double fisting beers in the morning draw there in Korea. I don't know if he'll be able to do that if the kids are alongside, but
that's it. Instead, this time you'll have one kid in each arm, and instead of beers.
Or that's what grandparents are for. I don't know. Like,
yeah, could be. Could be.
So that'll be really cool for Rachel Homan and her team. Good for them. I think they definitely go in as the favorites for the Olympics. For Christina Black, great showing for them. We talked on Wednesday, Scott. They get in because of the last stone draw standings in the tiebreaker, and Caitlin Laws makes that great run back. And that gives us a really fun weekend where she goes in, she beats Carrie Anderson. First time she ever beats Carrie Anderson in the semifinal. Really great close game on Friday, and that crowd was pretty hot on Friday. They were hot Thursday as well, and they were ready to explode on Saturday and got a bit in the second end, but then Rachel Homan took control. So, but a really cool week for Christina Black and her team. I thought it was really fun on Friday after the game. She said, we just want to be annoying to them and just be sort of pester them a bit. And I think they certainly were on Friday. She also said, I thought this was really cool after the game on Thursday afternoon. Her last shot was an outturn hit, and Colleen Jones always threw outturn hits. That was her favorite shot. And she said, like, I wanted the last one to be an outturn hit, to do it like Colleen. That was pretty cool. They flashed up to the box where her family was. So that was really cool. And then after the game on Saturday, like, she said something along the lines of, Rachel Homan, like, best team, deserves to go. Maybe I think this might give us a better chance at the Scotties now, which a really cool perspective. It's true. You take out the best team in the world, everyone else's chances get better. Sure. So really cool week for Christina Black, though. And that was really fun to see.
Yeah, definitely. When we were there over the first weekend, Sean, and the first two games were a little out of hand. I think we mentioned this on our show last week, but I was like, ooh, that's tough start. And they managed to pull it through. I'm looking at the statistics for the week, looking at the hammer analysis. They only converted 27% of their hammers and had steals against them in 31% of their ends without hammer. So,
but honestly, if you take, like, I really can't take out the last game on Saturday and the first, if you take away the weekend games, the steal number becomes a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's obviously a question of, like, when those steals happen, how many. So, they made it there. They had a good time. They put on a good show. And yeah, I do think this is a really good stepping stone event for them for this year's Scotties.
Yeah, I agree. So if we look at the Scotties now, we're going to need a new team in the field. Carrie Anderson will go. This has not been announced, but this is what has happened in the past. Carrie Anderson will go as Team Canada as the runners up from last year. And then another team will get the auto berth with Carrie Anderson. So auto berth now being available. So we'll have that announcement forthcoming. I haven't looked to know who it would be in that auto berth, but I'm sure Curling Can will come up with that announcement soon. Speaking of Carrie Anderson, loses in the semifinal. She won her first 6 games and loses Wednesday night to Rachel Homan, and then loses in the semifinal to Christina Black. And I don't know, Scott, what the future of this team's going to be. Obviously, a lot of changes over the past 18 months for this team, with Brianne Harris leaving, with the injury to Shannon Burchard. They've had an incredible run over the 8 years since the 4 of them came together. I guess you can call it a 6-year run with the 4 of them.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happens now to them. It's a really, really good team, but 8 years together, who knows?
Yeah, it might be time for them to go their separate ways. But to be honest, Carrie seemed to have like quite a lot of energy at the trials and seemed to be like happy with the team for, I don't know if there's a better way to say that, but I could see them re-upping with Carly at lead and going again. But yeah, we'll see. Val's been doing it for a long time. Carrie's been doing it for a long time too. We'll see if they want to step back for a year, get some perspective, come back. Who knows? But I think they go into the Scotties as the favorite.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's not a bad place to be.
No, 100%. So yeah, they'll be going to Mississauga with the Maple Leaf, and as you say, as the favorite. All right, so that's the women's side of the draw, Scott. Let's talk about the men's side of the draw, where it was Brad Jacobs and his team. They sweep the final against Matt Dunstone. And Matt Dunstone beat Mike McEwen in the semifinal, which was nuts on Thursday night. Really weird 10th end, all sorts of rocks in play. Mike McEwen, I like sort of this older Mike McEwen, right? Yeah. Very relaxed. And after the game, great perspective on everything. I mean, Mike McEwen's never going to have a more difficult loss probably for the rest of his life than the 2017 trials.
Yeah.
Like even if he makes it to an Olympics one day and loses a gold medal, like I can't imagine that would be more difficult than that 2017 final, the way it played out. So, he's got great perspective on this, and his comments after the game Thursday. So Matt Dunstone goes through, and then Friday night was bonkos. Like,
yeah,
bonkos, man. Like Matt Dunstone misses in the second end. Jacob takes the lead. They have and then a steal. He misses a draw.
Yeah.
Right? And then Team Jacobs just decides to miss everything. Mark Kennedy flashes a hit, which I don't think that's happened since, 2004, where Mark Kennedy just flashes a hit. It was a sweeping error where Ben, then Jacobs throws and Ben cooks it.
Yeah.
And sweeps it. And then Dunstone scores 4. You're like, what is happening? Why did this, Thursday B level game break out at the Olympic trials? What's going on?
It was crazy though. Crazy. And like there were so many rocks in play in the 10th end, right? Jacobs with hammer down 1. Dunstone of course is putting rocks in play, but there's like a ton of guards, there's corner guards up. Like Mark Kennedy made a few nice shots. The one in game 2 is the one I'm the most impressed with, his run back triple.
Yeah.
At the end of the game, which was just kind of like, what are we doing here? Like, not fair. But yeah, like Dunstone had the shot to win the game or not to win the game, but to at least force an extra end.
Yep.
And give yourself a very good chance to win that crucial game 1. And yeah, he just put the rock in the wrong spot, and it sailed, right? Like I think we've seen this from Matt, and I know how much Matt works on the mental side of the game. It's mental toughness and resiliency. It's definitely there. It's a part of him. But it seems like that's something he needs to continue to do, and like he will bounce back from this. He will win a Brier one day. I think both of us are agreed on that. It's just when we talked going into this event, neither of us could believe that his first signature win would be the Olympic trials.
Yeah.
And it did seem like the moment got to him a bit. And to be honest, like who wouldn't it get to?
Right.
But yeah, like this is another one of those like hard losses. You talked about McEwen's hard loss. Like this is going to be one that sticks in his memory for a while, I'm sure. Because he was right there with these guys. Like as much as Team Jacobs is the best team in Canada, like Matt is the next best, and like 1A, 1B, something like that. And he had a couple of games in the round robin, right, where he put his rocks in just not the right spot at the end of the game, and there you go. He was almost knocked out of the tournament. So good job to bounce back, win that game Thursday night. But I think that's what the team needs going forward. They've got like the solid veterans in the lead and second position, and who knows what happens, after this year. But he's got those two guys that are rock solid, and he and Colton are still learning how to be champions. It's one thing to do it at the Grand Slams. It's a whole other thing to do it with the Maple Leaf on the line.
Yeah, it's a different. Just the stakes are different at this, right? The whole curling calendar now is built to this process. It's in the Canadian context to get to the trials and then to win the trials and then the Olympics. But like globally, the curling calendar is built around the Olympic Games. So this is really the pinnacle for Canada as to who gets to go. And yeah, it's difficult to watch.
Yeah.
Right. Like it is to see somebody who is really, really good, who wants this so bad.
Yeah. Really cares.
And just keeps getting gut punched.
Yeah.
Like he just does. And the shot on Friday, like losing the way he lost Saturday, I mean, that happens, right?
Yeah.
Nip and tuck game. He misses the draw, I think it was in 2 to give up the steal, comes back with a deuce. Like that's the stuff that like you like to see. And then they're down 1 without the hammer. Jacobs basically intentionally gives up the steal in 9 to retain the hammer. Like that happens, right? That's not as much of a gut punch as I think Friday was, because you didn't make him throw, right? Jacobs had the hammer.
Yeah.
Down 1, and you didn't make him throw his last. And there could be a lot of reasons for that, but that one I think is going to stick with you a little bit. And it's as a view, like Ben said something after the game, he's like, I think all the fans, that's an entertaining game. Yeah, it was kind of crazy out there. It was high scoring, but very entertaining for the fans. And I understand why he says that. And yeah, it was largely an entertaining game, but that is hard to watch at the end.
Yeah. And
so
I've got the 10th end on here now, and he missed his first, right? Over curled and hit a guard, missing his first. And then you got to think that was in his head for the second one, right? Where he's maybe trying to be too perfect, and over curls and over curls again.
Yeah. And I think he said to Colton before he went down, he said, I don't think it's going to go nuts here with that weight.
Right.
And it did.
It did.
And it did. And I went back and watched a couple times to see if I could pick up anything on the release. Looked clean to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's one of those things where just in that spot, it was different at the end of the game. What I did like about it, he was very confident in what he wanted to play.
Yep.
He said, I think this is like a 10-5. I think this is where he put the broom. He sort of knew. They did call a timeout, but he did know like what they were trying to do. Yeah, and then just have for it to go nuts on him and them really not expect it. That sucks, right? Like, yeah.
So the other thing too, you mentioned it. I think we'll see what happens with the Harnden brothers as to what they want to do with the new quad coming up. But Colton Lott really established himself, I think, this week as, if not the best third in the country, certainly in the top two, right?
Yeah.
I'm presuming Nichols is going to join Brad Gushu in retirement at the end of this. I would be surprised if Mark Kennedy also doesn't at least take a year or two off, especially now that they've got, and if they win, I wouldn't be surprised if Mark Kennedy goes the Jason Kelsey route, just with less beer and more clothes, but essentially the same, the same route. And that puts Colton Lott as like, he was really good all week. And, Vic said it a bunch, like he doesn't really say much. He's a reserved guy out there, but he's really good. And if the two of them can ride together, then that's a pretty good team. I mean, they obviously haven't had the same success as Homan and Miscue, but it's the same idea of two people who grew up together, played juniors together. And if they can stick together through the craziness of what this cycle is going to be, that could be a really long-term, very fruitful partnership, I think, for the two of them.
I think so, Sean. I think so. Yeah. And you're right. Colton Lott's been good for a long time.
But this was different. He took a step up.
Kicked it up a notch, you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, fair enough. He definitely had a good week. Played to a +2 over the course of his 10 games. But that was tops in the field. So
yeah, that game Thursday night, like he might have been the MVP. Like he was making like key shots, like perfect rolls. He can throw the high hard one, the easier like hack weight with a little roll. He was just making everything, and it was a very, very impressive performance from him.
Yeah, pretty impressive for Colton Lott. 91% shooting percentage on the week.
Yeah, can't really do too much better than that.
No, that's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah. So there you have it. Brad Jacobs, Rachel Homan are going to be our Olympic representatives here from Canada. I don't know if Jacobs goes in as the favorite, Scott. Certainly Homan does as the best team in the world. I think Bruce Mount probably still goes in as the favorite on the men's side, is my guess. But
I mean, do you want to talk about the Euros quickly?
Yeah, let's we'll talk about the Euros quick, but just to put a pin on Canada, neither of us had the men's winner in our picks. We both had Homan on the women's side. You picked Epping, I picked Dunstone, so I'm going to take a win on that because Epping did not make the playoffs. So I'll take the win on that. If you look at the attendance figures, very impressive attendance figures there for Halifax. They're pretty steady over the course of the week, around 5,000 per draw, with the exception of a couple of the night draws. The like midweek, like Tuesday night was 3,700, for instance. They packed the kids in the morning draw, which is great. Lowest playoff crowd was 6,800 on Thursday afternoon, and then over 7,000 for the two Saturday games. So a good job by Halifax. I really enjoyed it. It was my first time to the city. I think we said this on Wednesday night. The patch, I don't know. From all accounts, it was packed.
Okay.
Wednesday through Saturday, and people were having a good time. And the photos that I've seen from the patch look great. But when you have to walk past like 12 bars to get there, it's just a tough sell. But to me, overall, a really wonderful city. If there's an event there in the future, I'd be happy to go back. Despite the fact that it's on a hill, it was pretty walkable.
Yep.
For us. Like, I think in our group, we were staying at, of the 8 of us, I think we're in 4 different hotels of all of us, all of which were no more than a 15-minute walk at most from the arena.
Yeah, I think mine was the furthest, and it was about between 10 and 15.
Yeah. So really good job by Halifax. Really enjoyed it. And, hopefully that's in the trials rotation for a bit here.
I mean, it's been like they hosted in 2005. So
yeah. So 2045, get your tickets.
Get your hotels.
Get everything set. Yeah. I would assume the next one will go back to the prairies. I kind of hope Edmonton, they haven't been in Edmonton for anything in a while. They love that building in Calgary, and I get it. Like, I understand why, but I kind of hope they go back to Edmonton for something, or Winnipeg, like one of the two.
Yeah. One of
for the
two.
next one. Yeah. So there you have it. That is the Canadian Olympic curling trials. Congratulations to Brad Jacobs and Rachel Homan. Just also real quick, Brett Gallant will be the first Canadian to do the double, playing it in the mixed doubles and then in the men's game. But he's done this a bunch now. Like, he's played in men's world championship, mixed doubles world championship in the same year before. So he's just a curling madman, and I'm sure he'll be fine physically when it comes to this. Probably more the mental drain of it. But that Olympic schedule, especially once we get into the 4-person, it's so spread out that they'll have a lot of downtime and time to put their feet up, and hopefully too, maybe get a chance to go to a different event and just be a spectator for a little bit, just to get your mind off of it and forget about curling for a few hours. So hopefully they can do that and enjoy themselves. But Scott, you mentioned the European Curling Championships. Those were settled on Saturday, and it was a Swedish sweep of the Euros. Nicholas Edin and Anna Hasselberg win. Start with the men's side here, where Bruce Mowat goes 9-0 through the round robin, runs the table. Yannick Schwaller second, 7-2, and then Joel Ray-Ternaz, Nick Edin, and Mark Miskatowicz all were 6-3. But Mark Miskatowicz lost to both Nick Edin and Joel Ray-Ternaz. Ray-Ternaz beat Edin, so the rankings were Ray-Ternaz in 3rd and Nick Edin in 4. And then Nick Edin beats Bruce Mowat. Yannick Schwaller beats Bruce Mowat, and then Bruce Mowat recovers and gets the bronze medal. So your table is Sweden, Switzerland, and Scotland. Any real takeaways for you from this, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, Bruce and the boys were the best team all week, class of the field, and they got by Nicholas Edin. I think, what did Ryan text us? The rumors of Nicholas Edin's demise have been greatly exaggerated.
Greatly exaggerated, yeah.
They got Edin. Their credit, they came back, but they were the class of the field all week. So I still would give them the favorite status going into the Olympics.
Yeah, I agree. I should also say, like, credit to Yannick Schwaller and his team in that semifinal against Joel Ray-Ternaz. They were down by, they were tied in the 8th end, and Ray-Ternaz had the hammer, and they were able to get a steal there, give up the 2-9, but get a 2-10. So that's pretty impressive to be, basically down 2 hammers to 1 in the 8th and be able to pull out that win. So good job by them. Joel Ray-Ternaz, not a bad week for them as we look ahead to the Olympics, 6-3. So they'll be competitive at the Olympics for sure. Obviously, though, not the result they would have wanted. Over on the women's side, as I said, it was a Swedish sweep with Anna Hasselberg getting the win there. They were the best team over the course of the week. They go 8-1 through the round robin. It was Switzerland with the 6-3, finishing second. Scotland, Norway, Denmark, and Turkey all tied with 5-4 records. It was Scotland and Norway getting the playoff berth because of head-to-head. Madeleine Dupont, Scott, I'm so sorry. She did not make the playoffs, but she was in that mix at 5-4, and Dilsat Yildiz also doesn't get through at 5-4. Constantini is the final qualifier for the World Championship. She was 4-5. The Lithuanian team, Virginia Polaskate, really tough. They were 3-1 at one point, and then lost their final 5 games. So they don't get into the World Championship. They miss barely, along with Germany and the Czech Republic. So they will not go through. But in the playoffs for the women's teams, once we had all of that settled, it was Sophie Jackson beating Corey Hurleman 8-5 in one semifinal, and Hasselberg beat Rorvik 7-6 in the other. A big 3 in the ninth end, the difference in that game. And then in the gold medal game, a 7-5 win. Anna Hasselberg really in control the whole way of that game, and Switzerland bounces back to win the bronze. Scott, anything from the women's side that stands out?
Team Hasselberg coming away with a win. That's I think we had them as our probably class of the field, but nice to see them play well going into the Olympic Games. They'd had a bit of a down year so far by their lofty standards. So happy to see that, and good on Team Scotland. We talked about them as being a team that I thought could go anywhere from missing the playoffs to winning the whole thing. So a good week for them. And I'm sure Team GB will be in full force out there at the Olympics, looking for back-to-back gold medals in the women's 4-person event.
All right. And then just to put a pin in the Euros, it was on the B side for the women, Latvia and Estonia in the gold medal game. So those two teams would be going up in a scenario where the Euros were the same as they were. And then over on the men's side, Belgium and Spain in the gold medal game. Belgium gets the win there. So very cool to see that. If we look at the picks we made, Scott, we both had Scotland to win on the men's side. You didn't have Nicodine in the play or on the podium. You had Spain getting promoted. I had Belgium getting promoted. So good on us there. For the women's side, I had Estonia going up. I also had Hungary going up. You had Latvia and Estonia. So there you go. So good job there. For the demotions, you had Poland. They are going to the World Championship on the men's side.
Yeah.
So I think that might be the biggest miss that we had there. You also had Austria going down. I had Denmark and Poland going down on the men's side. So if we look at the standings, it was Denmark and Austria going down. So, but very cool for Poland to get in to the World Championship. That's probably the biggest takeaway, I think, there.
Yeah, and they were also 3-1, as was Team Lithuania on the women's, as you mentioned.
And they were able to hold it together.
Well, they were.
Well, 3 was enough.
3 was enough, and they lost the rest of them. But, you know.
It happens.
It happens.
Yeah. So with that, the World Championship fields are set for the spring. For both the men's and the women's, it'll be the last time we have this format. Nobody consulted me on the new format and what we're going to have to do to preview it and all that. But hey, that's a problem for the spring.
Exactly.
Or that's next spring, not even this spring. Like, that's a problem for spring 2027.
Future us problem.
There you go. So there you have it. That is the goings on from the European Championships and the Canadian Olympic Curling Trials. So there you have it. That is it for the trials and the Euros. Still a lot going on in the month of December. We've got the last chance qualifier for the Olympic Games heading out to Kelowna. And then we'll have, of course, the Stoney Awards at some point this month. Looking back at the best in the world of curling here in 2025, and a couple other things that we'll have before the end of the year. So if you want all that, please do subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Like, rate, comment, all that good stuff helps other people find the show. Head on over to GameOfThronesPod.com. Past episodes are there, plus a link to the merch. on the socials. We're at Game of Stones Pod, Game of Stones Podcast on Facebook. And if you want to let us know what you want to hear on the show, Game of Stones Podcast at gmail.com. Scott, as we speak, the calendar is about to turn to December. As this is released, it will be December.
Yeah.
We had our first, I think, worthwhile snowfall here in the nation's capital today. And that it was the first one that I think will stay for a minute here.
I think so.
And, the end of the year is fast approaching.
Yeah, we had to go shovel this afternoon. Both you and I were out in our respective houses shoveling away. I don't have much to shovel, but enough.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a spot on the street that people park in, and it's like there's barely enough space between our driveway and the next driveway, and I would prefer people not park there.
Sure.
So I just piled all the snow right there.
Nice.
In that parking spot. So
yeah, it's remarkable how small the streets get in the winter.
Yeah.
Like living downtown, certainly where I used to live, and even I noticed it in the new place where I am now. Like it can't be that much. It can't be more than like a couple feet that with the snowbanks, the street gets that much narrower, but it feels like 10 feet. like in the winter, where I used to live, there was only room for one car. And in the summer you could have two cars passing each other with a car parked on the side of the street. I'm like, how does that, it fails to compute in my head how that's possible that the same space is so affected by the snow.
Yeah, well, it's on our street it's a one-way, and you can park on one side of the street, and so already, there's a lot of space. There's probably a car and a half width's worth, and but yeah, once they start plowing, and people aren't going to not park there.
Sure,
I'm sure. So
it's a parking space.
So they'll be, trying to dig their parked cars out, and yeah, it's going to be tough. I did hear the plow go by, and I haven't been out since. So
I hate that.
But at my old house, Sean, the landlords paid for a shoveling service.
Yeah,
they were terrible, but they came.
Yeah,
I still had to shovel the driveway. Like they would come by sometimes with a plow for the driveways, but they wouldn't tell me when they were coming. And they're like, "Oh, your car's there. Sorry, we can't do anything."
Sure.
And the guys with the hand shovels wouldn't go near the cars because they're like, "Well, that's not my account. I just shovel the walkway."
Right.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
What are we even doing here, man? So I opted not to get a shoveling service.
Yeah.
And we'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah. But as you say, you don't have that much space.
No, it took, I don't know, 20 minutes today.
I'm surprised it even took that long.
Yeah, and that was the two of us.
Wow.
Well, I did the neighbors too.
Okay. Well, that's nice of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, that's about what mine took. I've learned too, when piling stuff, to do it sort of in the direction the street is going, because then as the plow comes by, it's sort of pushing it away from the house.
Away from you.
Whereas if I put it on the other side, like as I'm away from the house on the left side on that bank, that stuff is just coming back to me. So if I put it on the right snowbank, and it's not going to the neighbor either, because there's enough space between my driveway and their driveway that's just going to the middle of the snowbank. So it's a win-win, I feel like.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
So there you go. The joys of living in a northern climate.
That's true. It is nice.
It is. I mean, summer is fun because we have the winter and we get the fall, which is a delight.
Yeah.
And, then we just have to slog through January and February.
Yeah, no big deal, right?
Which isn't actually that bad. I find March actually the worst.
Yeah, March is the worst because it's like, is this not over yet?
And then it gets slushy and muddy, and when the snow melts, it like smells bad. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, you got dog poop.
Dog poop everywhere.
Emerges. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
All right.
spring, rebirth, all that crap.
All that crap.
So there you have it, everybody. Hope you are well wherever you are. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving to our friends down there in the United States, and hope as the holiday season approaches, finds you in good spirits. And we'll be along with you through the month of December. But until we chat with you again, keep those brooms on the ice and don't dump that insert.
Make the final.